Hi everyone, I'm Himani. I've been journaling for over 2 decades, and health planning is something I'm still actively figuring out. I don't really have a perfect system yet, and I don't think I'm supposed to create a perfect one. In this video, I'm not showing a finished planner or a polished setup. I just want to share my thinking process and how I brainstorm, how I decide what's most important, and how I plan without committing too much too soon. If you're someone who wants to track your health or energy but feels overwhelmed by planners, this might be helpful. Why I want a health planner is over time I've realized that my health, energy, and capacity in general changes a lot, sometimes on daily basis, sometimes weekly. And when that happens, most structured planners have failed to help me. And that's something I want to figure out. I've tried systems that were too detailed or too rigid, and I've usually abandoned them because they feel like another thing I'm failing at. I have I have perfectionist tendencies, and that's why I keep doing that to myself, but hopefully that will change. This time, I want a planner that feels supportive. Since I live with multiple chronic illnesses, tracking my symptoms is important to be clear and advocate for myself easily during my doctor visits, which are a lot. I have been recording symptoms since a year, but here and there, and that has not been very helpful. I need a system where I can track how different factors collectively contribute in my pains and fatigue. So I've decided to use Kinber Techo 2026 planner for my health this year. I I almost bought Hobonichi, but I had to be honest with myself. I don't have a very good history with planners and to sticking to them. Although, like, I have been regularly using the Kinber weeks for my daily planning, which is here this one. So I have been using it regularly for past few weeks. I would say it's all almost been 2 months. So I'm hoping that because this system is working for my health planner, also this will work. But still, I don't want to invest a lot of money. I'm still not very confident. But I really like Canva because at a one third price, you get a decent quality of pages, and it's quite identical to Hobonichi. Some things here and there are different. It comes with actually like more free pages, which I like, and it also has uh, like expanded yearly pages like this. I really love it because I can track more things. So I actually like it. So I hope this will be useful. And I always start with a brain dump. So how I did for this planner was like I literally like took an old planner which was laying around, and I had discarded this a month ago. It didn't work for me. I did try it, but it didn't work for me. So I'm using its old pages to do some brainstorming. So I think first I started with like literally random brain dump, just like putting down whatever I want um, to track possibly I can think of. I later cut it, but this is a very messy, rough walk. You don't need to pay attention to that. But what I want to start by saying is that first, on a page, try to write everything you think you possibly can track or want to track, or even if you think that you are not good with tracking that. For example, water intake. Many people track that, and I have personally seen that it doesn't help me to track it, to write it down, because I will still not drink it. So instead of putting me under pressure of recording something like that, I would rather think of other symptoms, maybe visual reminders in the house and things like that. So you have to basically write down whatever you can, like think of. So you can even have a list of things that will put me under pressure if I start recording. For example, I took the water intake example. So yeah, we start with the brain dump, and then like you can include things like symptoms, your pain levels, energy, mood, sleep, or you can include habits which you do on daily basis like journaling or even small self-care actions. I just let the ideas come out on the paper. And then in the next step, what we do is we will now start narrowing it down. For this, just I just wrote a lot of things which I thought is a list of habits, then a list of things which I want to track. Habits can go under just, like, okay, I did this or not. And tracking can be, like you want to track like the frequency of those things. The next step is actually very difficult because it is about deciding what actually matters. Once you have all the ideas laid down, we have to start with narrowing them down. So, how I do it is like I ask myself simple questions, and I will put them on the screen when I edit this video. That simple questions like what will actually help me understand my health better? What will uh, help me to realistically check in? What feels useful instead of overwhelming right now? So I put these questions literally in front of me while I'm looking at it, so I don't feel like a lot of pressure of recording everything, but to choose like things which will actually make a difference over time when I see my growth, or see like how different factors are contributing to each other. So I try to choose the minimum that gives me insight. I remind myself that tracking doesn't need to be perfect to be valuable. This is also where I give myself permission to change things later. So, like, I can start with a set of factors, and then I can see, like, how it goes on and how I'm able to keep with it, or there are things which I'm not able to continue, so I can just get rid of it later or whatever changes. But at this point, to tell myself that this is just an experiment and I can always change things also helps me to put some pressure off the planning system, if that makes sense. So my purpose of starting a health planner is correlation of my habits and my symptoms. That is extremely important for me. So I started with also researching around it, like how I can graphically see this correlation, and how I can, have little graphs which can help me to do those things easier. So I think there are two channels which were like really, really good for my purpose. Like one is like Little Coco Studio, and she's so good at it. And even though like her chronic illness is definitely different than mine, and obviously my symptoms will also look differently, but I loved how she tracked her sleep. And so what I did was like I made a note of it that I want to record sleep like that, and I even wrote that this is inspired by Little Coco Studio, and how different frequencies can be, like seen over days. And you can check her videos out for more details, but that's one element I wanted to take from that. And at this step, I also researched some easy graphical ways to see some of my habits over a week or a month. For example, I loved how Little Coco Studio, it's Allison there, and how she tracked sleep over the week, over different weeks, and by uh, having a very small graph like this, and just noting down the frequency like hours, and each day, like from Monday to Sunday, just like noting down how many hours she slept, and then observing it weekly. I really loved that. And I also like loved the idea of I think my Dandelion Diaries. Like I loved how Danielle, I hope I'm saying the right name. I loved how she tracked her habits and some symptoms in the monthly pages, like towards the end of her planner, and those monthly layouts is something I want to really try. So you can always look for ways on online on Google as well on how to graphically represent, like very simplistically, um, different these data points which are like on weekly and monthly. I am going with something very simple which I can do on daily basis, and I just wanted to mention like these are the two inspirations I took from YouTube. Other than that, there is like a lot of material online, and it's actually quite overwhelming. But I did end up noting things down, and then after the brain dump was the time when, so this is where I wrote that okay, like I will do the monthly tracking and of my symptoms, etc. And I also wrote like what I would like to do towards the free pages at the end of the planner, like these pages. And I noted some things down that, oh, I would love to like have a reading log, a social log, like my outings with my partner. And it would be nice to note like how much social I am, because that's something I really need to change, because I am someone who often isolates herself, and like I'm really happy in my own world. And but I really need to sometimes go out and meet people. So this year I really want to track that. And um, so like after doing like a lot of brain dump here on these pages, I then started writing some very clean version of what I am ending up with. And this is also not final, so like uh, after the second time I did this, I wrote that okay, these are the things I want to note in terms of frequency. Okay, how much caffeine I'm having, for example, what are my energy levels out of 10. And then things I wish to just track with the tick of right or wrong. So for example, reading, going for a walk, journaling, my Spanish lessons, etc. I also wanted to do um, the monthly trackers. I've made note of that what I want to track over the month, and also like what I want to track on the monthlies. So this is how like I narrowed down. I shared in last few minutes that what kind of questions I ask myself while narrowing these things down, and while making it as minimal as possible. And actually, like I've noted it here, like this was the meetups with friends, and social log was also an idea I picked up on YouTube. Like I saw many people who are really good with planning have this social log kind of thing, and I didn't even think of it, like I can actually track something like that. So that was really nice to get inspired. um, so yeah, this is how like I narrow things down. But then after this, like to keep it even more simple, instead of directly writing this down in my journal on the weekly page, what I do is like um, oh, I'm still in the process of decorating my journal, so it's still not like, but I have started it. And I like to do these things really slowly, like as I get into it, and as I added these tags here, which is like going to be really really helpful. um yeah, where was I? Yes, so I was talking about this, that I don't directly write down on my journal. And as you can see, like here, um at the time when I'm filming this, I'm still at the process where I have put down post-it notes. Post-it notes is so useful. Like I know like this is so I would say underestimated thing which we have like grown out of, but I think post-it notes are very useful. So what I do is like I using these post-its, and each post-it represents a spread or a habit or a table or graph I want to represent, because I can anytime like go back to my rough notes to see like what exactly I was thinking about it. But how I start is like going from each spread. For example, this is an yearly spread. So for the year, I have written that I want to track my steps this year, and also, like how much I'm meditating, and also, like, my yoga. So I was thinking, like, I will create a key or something, like different colors representing different things. So for steps, I have written that I only want to note like three of them down, like less than 1500 or more than 1500, or less than 500 or more, because I know like my walking capacity is very limited given my symptoms. But so I mostly exercise at home. So but I this year I see myself like trying more of it, so I have to like start recording it. That will help me to hopefully motivate me to do that more. So this is my plan for the yearly pages. Here also I have noted some things down which I really feel like, I would go forward with in the monthlies, the 12 monthlies. And I've decided to use this only for my mental and physical health related appointments, because that will help me to see, like, what am I doing, tangibly what am I doing for my health. So here I will note those things down. And I also want to like note when I change my brush, because I forget it. So this is like helpful. And then other than that, like going in the weeks, I have written that, like to refer to my rough notes. On the left hand side, I decided to note my meals, because going forward I want to note my meals on this tracker, and also the weather and humidity, because these two things like impact me the most in terms of my pain levels. So I will have like two sections, for like one for weather and other for meals, and to note all the meals. And on the right hand side, I want to basically track what is happening, and maybe, like have any notes at the end related to the food, or like how I felt that day eating that food. And I can also make a correlation with my sleep and other things which I made note of here to track. Yeah, so here is this is my like plan for the weekly. It's quite simple, and I really want to keep it simple. And then we have the free diary at the end, like where, like I can do so much stuff here, and like I'm so excited about using this, because I've decided to use this also as my reading log, because I'm someone who doesn't read like a lot of books, but I do enjoy reading, and I'm someone who reads very slowly, like taking my time, noting down things I like about the book, notes, and like my reflections. So I would say like I'm a very in-depth reader. So this year I decided that I will have a small reading log in my planner itself. I also have another reading journal where I note the quotes and my ratings in detail. So this can just be a log kind of. So in these pages, I've decided to have the monthly trackers, where I will have a small graph kind of situation, and I will track like 6 to 7 symptoms. And I can have like different colors representing like different lines, which will help me to compare. And I'm also planning to use these pages for my shows and movies tracker, like what are the things I'm watching, and the reading log I mentioned. And to also do my detailed social log on these pages, including the video calls I do with my friends back home, and my outings with my partner, because we do go out a lot for movies and all these days. So I really want to, like capture those memories, because I'll definitely forget them by the next year. So this is how I plan to use my Kinber Techo planner. I would really like to share my final setup once I've actually used it for a while. after a month or two. And but for now, like, I really wanted to show the planning stage, because I know that part is often very invisible and less talked about. So yeah, thanks for spending this time with me. I hope this helps you to clear your head and know that you can do it too. Much love. See you soon.